How's it going, everybody? This podcast is brought to you by RYYZN Make Life Workout, a health, self-development and lifestyle platform building a passionate community of knowledge seekers, creative dreamers and future leaders.
For details on the latest RYYZN event that will feature expert speakers in the field of self-development and growth, check out www.ryz-workout.com.
That's www.ryz-workout.com. Enjoy the show. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the High Frequency Club podcast. My name is Marwin Saleri.
And I'm Sinead Behrman. We're here talking all things self-development, growth, and mindset.
In this episode, we have the content creator and founder of the successful meme page, NZ Lockdown Memes, Ben Evans.
Yeah, awesome chat with Ben, getting to know all about how the page started, where he gets his inspiration and ideas from to keep creating content. And
yeah, it's so good to see the face behind the page. I mean, I know Ben personally, but for a lot of people with that huge engaged audience, you know, they don't necessarily know the person behind it.
Yeah.
You know, the human who creates all that content.
Yeah.
He tells us how he deals, you know, with the hate that does come with running a social media page, how he manages his creativity.
Yeah.
And what he does to make sure he's in that creative mental space.
Yeah, and a good few practical tips in there, as well as to anyone else that is wanting to either maybe start their own sort of side hustle or their own page about something. So yeah.
Yeah, he's dropped some good insights, especially on the advertising standards and how that's growing and rapidly changing the rules that are coming out. And I didn't even know that. That's something to really bear in mind.
Yeah. So have a listen, let us know what you think at the High Frequency Club, Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Apple.
Enjoy the show. Yeah. Awesome, bro. Yeah, thanks for coming on and giving us some of your time. And I'm sure there's going to be some valuable content in this trend of social media content consumption and creation, but also for people to see the face behind the highly successful NZ Lockdown Memes page. So for people who don't know you, bro, did you want to give them a rundown of what you do, who you are, where you come from?
Yeah. Do you want me to look at the camera or just
No, just ask us all good, bro.
I'm Ben. I'm 29 years old. I'm from Auckland. I reside on the North Shore and I work on the North Shore. My main gig is personal training. I'm currently working for Les Mills. And on the side, I just run a little Instagram page that is kind of like my creative outlet, I suppose. I've always been a pretty, I like to think, creative person and pretty imaginative. And having this page has sort of allowed me to, I suppose, express myself in certain ways and ultimately just take the piss. That's the main thing. And so it's kind of, I started it, what are we now? Mid-2021, a year and a half ago, I suppose, and it's still ticking over. It's still keeping me busy, and people still seem to be enjoying it.
Yeah. So obviously, lockdown was the inspiration behind it all.
Yeah.
Were you creating were you doing social media management beforehand, or was that like a first gig at the spur of the moment kind of thing, so the opportunity?
Absolutely no experience in social media other than my own social pages like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, if you even consider that. It was more just I sort of created. Originally, I just created a couple of memes that I'd thought of. I shared them on my personal page, and people were coming back to me and wondering where I was getting them from. And then they were wanting me to put them together onto a page, and so I was reluctant to initially, just because I was like, that's extra work. B, some of these are a bit rude. I've got clients that follow me. I don't really know, I'll be sharing some of these sort of memes. I'm talking like personal training clients, and here we are, making jokes about getting absolutely shit-faced on a Saturday and rocking up to work Monday hungover as fuck still. So things like that, I obviously wanted to keep them pretty separate. But and then as I started piecing it together, it just sort of started to grow organically from there.
Yeah.
But no prior experience, no.
Sweet. It was a quick rise for that NZ Lockdown Memes page, How did anything surprise you?
A lot surprised me, to be honest. like I said, I originally just started piecing them together purely for my friends because they were enjoying them, and I thought, well, I've got a few more ideas that I could joke about. And then, I think someone after a few must have been a couple of weeks or something, and then I made a meme relating to relating to that first major lockdown, and someone with an Instagram page with heaps of followers already, they shared that. Yeah. And then that sent a whole lot of traffic to my page. Yeah. And then from that point, that kind of allowed it to snowball a little bit because I just got all these followers that were, not just within my own circles, but far greater reach. All these people that I wouldn't have actually, connected to in any other way previously, and they would share with their friends and stuff like that. And that's how it sort of kept on. And then, and in the end, the weeks would go by and the followers would go up, and it's still growing even now.
Yeah. How do you find its relevancy now? Because I don't know, like obviously everything's so uncertain. We don't know if we're going to go into lockdown again with the vaccines coming out and shit like that. How have you been able to upkeep its relevancy? Because I know at one point you were like, oh, should we still call it NZ lockdown?
Yeah, that's right.
And then you ended up sticking with it.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, well, that was the thing. We were obviously in that first lockdown for about, it was probably 6 or 7 weeks or something. And I was thinking throughout that time, cool, I've got this lockdown meme page, like, do I want to bother carrying it on when I go back to work after lockdown, back to work as a PT, or do I start to make memes about other things that are just still relevant to people anyway? But people were still it felt like people were demanding content, they wanted to see more, because there wasn't any other page like that, or currently even isn't in New Zealand, I don't think. I think a couple of people have since tried to make pages, but I'm not sure how they're getting on. But either way, there was... it wasn't pressure, but I did feel like, people wanted more content, and I knew that I had the ideas to carry on, and so I just did so, and it's just carried on from there. And obviously, the name has stuck because everyone identifies it by that. But there was a thought of a name change at some point, and I still sometimes think about that, but at the moment, that's just what it is. Is it just you behind that page, or do you have like, I don't know, consultants or other content creators? Just because how often do you post? And are there strict rules behind what? Nah, so I literally, you could probably work it out. I think I looked the other day and I think I've posted close to 1,500 memes. It's been running for a year and a half, so that's 75 weeks, I suppose. So you could probably work out on average how frequently I would post. Sometimes I go a couple, 2, 3, 4 days without posting, and then I'll just sort of look at it and go, oh shit, should probably post something, and then I'll just sit down and I'll just think of like 3 or 4 different memes and just chuck those out. That just keeps it growing. So it is just me. When I started the page, my ex at the time, she helped me with she had a few ideas initially, but we're not together anymore. I've just been doing it on my own for quite a while now. But there's no other people involved. I do get like submissions from people, and they're quite often pretty terrible memes. So that's why I'm quite clear about the fact that I like to be clear about the fact that it's original content, and I'm posting stuff that I'm making, because I feel like if I start to reshare other people's things or start to reshare submissions, then it sort of opens the floodgates, and next thing you know, you've got all these messages like, oh, make a meme about this, or I made this, you can share it if you want, and I'll look at it and be like, ooh, probably not.
So do you find like your ideas and inspiration is sort of just comes to you, not necessarily taking it, like if someone else does say, oh, make a meme about this?
Sometimes if someone said, can you make a meme about this topic, and I can think of something that's actually funny, then I will, but I won't just for the hell of it. But no, the ideas are all just sort of come to me just randomly. I think I've said this before, I like to think I'm quite perceptive, I'm quite visual, I always like to look around at what's going on and see how people behave and how people act, and then think of ways that you can spin that into something funny, or things that we all do, and a lot of the memes that I make are actually about my own behaviours or things that I've done in the past, or
and they're so relatable.
And they're relatable, and I know that, like rocking up, waking up hungover as hell or whatever, like we've all been there, like think of ways to make that funny, or try to pick up on trends, and then just put a spotlight on that, but in a funny way.
So it sounds like your creativity is quite spontaneous. So when you like go through, these 4 days and I haven't posted, do you feel the pressure to post? Or
Yeah.
are you just, yeah, okay, so how do you manage that?
I would say pressure. More of just a duty. I feel like I need to. Like it is all spontaneous. There's no memes on my phone right now, like waiting to be posted that currently aren't posted. I'll literally just think of it, slap it together, and then chuck it up in that moment.
Yeah.
So I think I haven't posted for a couple of days now. So if I think of something this afternoon, I'll throw it up there. But it mostly is spontaneous. There's the odd thing that like I'll have a topic in my head of something I want to take the piss out of, and then I'll just wait for some inspiration to come into my head of how to actually express that, or turn that into a meme. That's going to be funny. And sometimes I'll sit on it and go, nah, that's not really funny enough, or I'll leave it for a couple of days and think of something better. But
Did you get outside, like, check with friends or something? They're like, oh,
sometimes
do you think this is funny or not funny?
There's the odd one, like I ask a couple of my close friends, like, or I'll make let's say I'll think of a topic I want to make a joke about, and I'll make 2 different memes.
Yeah.
And I might send to my close friends, and say, which one do you think is funnier?
Yeah. Okay.
Because it's the same topic.
Yeah.
But yeah, quite often I just send it out there, and so often you'll be like, oh god, I'm looking at this meme I've made, and I'm like, this really just isn't that funny.
Yeah. The more you look at it.
Yeah, but I'm like, I'll just chuck it up. Like I made one the other day, and I was like, this is not that funny, but I'm just going to post it up because I hadn't posted for 4 days.
Yeah.
And it popped off. It was like right up there in terms of posts that I made with the most reach.
Yeah.
Like upward of 100,000 accounts reached on certain memes here, and
do you ever get like analysis paralysis? Like for example, when you've got something there and you're like, you thought it was funny as, and then you start second guessing yourself.
All the time.
Yeah, because I feel that way too.
All the time, man. Yeah.
How do you manage your analysis paralysis?
I don't know. I might just sit on it for like a day or so. Or sit on it to think of in a way that I can reword it perhaps to make it flow a bit better. But there are definitely moments. But there's also moments where I'll make a meme that I think is quite good, and then it won't flop, but it just won't get as much engagement or reach as some other meme that I almost consider like a lazy meme. Like one that hasn't really taken much time and effort. Not that any of them really take time, but it hasn't. It's a pretty basic joke. And sometimes they'll just pop. And then other ones you think are mean, and they're like.
I know there's been a few memes where I've read the comment section because sometimes I fucking enjoy reading comment section. Especially of like neighborhoods, bro. Oh man, it's so funny. But obviously your lockdown page is a satire. It just takes the piss. And some people actually take it personal as. And I've seen you sometimes comment being like, hey, first of all, this is a meme page. It's made for a joke. How do you deal with the hate?
I got a lot more of it early on than I did now. Which I'm not really sure why, because there's obviously more followers, more reach now, but maybe I'm a little bit... I do think earlier on I was posting some memes that were a bit more edgy. And now I'm definitely a bit more careful about what I post, especially like the day and age that we live in, like
cancel culture and shit.
Cancel culture, like people, there are some very soft people, like sensitive people about certain topics that are just, they just get offended by some silly things. Like, like I've made memes about astrology, and people have come to me in the DMs and they literally felt oppressed by that. I'm like, you're not a minority, or you're not an oppressed minority. You believe in star signs, like so. But if someone has genuine concerns or something, I pretty much respond to all messages. But generally, what I find is someone will make some sort of snarky remark in the comment section, and I'll try and reply with something just like real short and sweet and concise, but like sort of snappy as well, like a little rebuttal, I guess. And then you'll quite often find that everyone will just jump on that person, and they'll be like, "You're just being ridiculous," blah, 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 and then next thing you know, they delete their comment. So, but if they, even if they DM me, I'll still reply. But it doesn't seem to be as frequent as it used to be. I don't know if that's because people kind of maybe respect the page a bit more now, or they kind of know that it's a joke, whereas early on they couldn't really sense it, or perhaps I was being a bit more edgy in the beginning. Because I have plenty of ideas of memes that I could post that I just won't.
Do you put your name to it? Do people know it's you, right?
Some people do. Some people do. I've got it in the bio of my personal Instagram. Just sort of, my bits and pieces, like how my PT and how I make content for that page and whatnot. But a lot of people, well, yeah, I mean, people that I know well know it's me.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know. Like I've been on like dates with chicks and they've not realised until after, and they're like, oh, what the hell? Like, girls like funny guys, so. Yeah,
that's true. That's true. The way one way into a woman's heart is laughter. So yeah, it's good that you don't take that stuff personal.
Nah, I don't. Nah, people are always going to have a something to bitch and moan about. I mean, on Instagram, everyone's got a voice now. Like they've got a place to express their opinion in a medium that they would not have had many years ago. Like if you had an opinion a few years ago and you wanted, let's say it was quite an outspoken opinion, you wouldn't really like stand on top of the street and you'd be yelling it out to everyone, so no one's really going to get that opinion. But now you can just jump on Instagram, be behind your phone screen and say something that literally thousands of people could see in an instant.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of given people this false sense of like power, I think, or
and there's no accountability.
Yeah, and they suddenly think that now that because they're able to express their opinion or voice their opinion to a large audience at once, it's more important, or it has more
validated.
It's more valid, and it's not like. Just because it's your opinion doesn't mean it's right.
Yeah. Did you want to speak on that? Because as a physiotherapist, a lot of people just post on.
I just find that like that. If it is your opinion, you should just share and say, in my personal experience or in my opinion, X, Y, Z. Whereas I see a lot of sometimes people that aren't qualified to give advice that they give, and they'll say like this X causes Y and this causes that, and I'm like, well, actually that's more nuanced than that. There's multiple things that are at play that could cause X, Y, or Z. So yeah, I just think people should be like, hey, in my personal experience or in my opinion, this and this, or this is what I've seen in my years of doing, PTing or whatever, versus saying like, oh, this always happens because that happens and X leads to Y. And
that's right.
It's unqualified people giving evidence.
Yeah.
And that can be problematic, definitely, when you've got, like, say, an influencer who has, 30, 40,000 followers or whatever, and she's, has a certain stance on something, and a lot of his or her following will generally agree with her, and then it can be quite dangerous, and obviously misinformation is a huge issue as well.
Yeah.
It's a whole other topic, but you do have to be careful.
Yeah.
And you do have to, when people make these bold statements or voice these opinions and they're all passionate about it, it doesn't mean it's any more valid.
Yeah.
Because they feel so strongly about it.
Yeah.
Like, some people will be like, oh, I'm offended by this meme that you made, that you made. And I'm like, well, some people are offended by gay marriage. Doesn't mean it's wrong, you know?
Yeah.
So, you being offended, I'm not even going to say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Unless I genuinely thought that I've crossed a line. But so what if you're offended? Cool.
That'll be different for everyone as to what experiences or past memories they have on a certain topic as to if it's going to offend them or not.
Yeah.
Just going back to the whole creative side of it, we've had artists and other content creators on. We always talk about how creativity isn't like a switch that you turn off and on. And some days, like for me, if I'm tired as fuck, if I haven't had my 8 hours sleep or whatever, or I'm hungry, I'm just not creative. It feels like I'm forcing it.
Yeah.
And that's when I feel I made shit content, when I'm forcing it. Like, what's your rituals, or what do you do to ensure that you're in a good creative headspace?
Yeah, I'd agree with you in all that sense, man. Like, I'm definitely someone who needs a shitload of sleep. I need a minimum 8 hours. I need to be training every day, things like that. I definitely notice my creativity just wavers.
Yeah.
And I find that the less brain fog I have and the better mood I'm in, the funnier I am.
Yeah.
I don't want to go around saying I'm a funny person, but like when I'm in a better state, in a better mood and stuff, I find that I can think of some things that are more witty or more intelligent, and I can just fire out more of them. But if I'm feeling flat, or if I'm feeling down or struggling, whatever, then there's not a lot going on there, because I think my brain's just sort of prioritizing other things, like just getting through the week, or getting to work and doing the minimum things you need to be doing.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, it's not quite a switch. It's more just when you do have that feeling like that you are in a creative space. Yeah. Try and capitalize on that. I think.
Roll with it.
Yeah.
Like you said, in those situations, that's where you might like bang out 4 memes that you're like, sweet, I've just made 4 memes.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
How do you maximize those? So let's say you're in your creative space and you're thinking like 4 or 5, 6 memes. Like, do you maximize it in the form of like, I'm just going to post it all today? Or do you save some in the bank? Like, what's the routine?
The most I would post bang 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 in a row consecutively is 4 memes. So I'd probably be like, okay, I have these ideas, let's make 4 and let's bang them out, and then those other ideas that I've thought of, I'll be like, I'll just post them. I'll just make them tomorrow or the next day.
Yeah.
Because I'd rather do that and sort of spread them out a bit more than go like 10 memes and then nothing for 2 weeks.
Yeah, for sure.
Because it's way better for engagement and just keeping it flowing. And you obviously like, I'm not concerned about the follower count or anything, but you do notice if you don't post for a few days, that number does start to come down a little bit. Like people are far more likely to go unfollow. Yeah. People who are like, whether they're sick of the page or whether they're just cleaning up their own following list, as people do. So yeah, but like I said, there's generally not many, never any memes in the pipeline. There's nothing on here right now. I have memes in my head, ideas, like I said before, like ones that I probably wouldn't post because that'd probably be a bit too divisive. Or just too rude or things like that. Yeah. But they're not made. But I could make them. Yeah. Maybe I'll make an OnlyFans, but memes. OnlyFans. NZ lockdown memes.
That's what I would have thought with, like you said, calling it lockdown memes, and it was somewhat started during lockdown, that when, like you said, people do go through their feeds and clean up their feeds, that they could have been like, oh, it's not lockdown anymore, irrelevant, unfollow, and like you said, to still kind of keep yourself relevant and keep people engaged.
Yeah, I would assume you'd want to post even more to keep that relevancy up. Because if there was an NZ lockdown memes, didn't hear from me for 2 weeks, I'm cleaning my feed. I'm like, oh, I don't hear anything. The title's irrelevant now.
Yeah, we're not in
so,
lockdown.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a valid point. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind renaming it. I just have to think of something that would actually work and still be relevant.
Yeah. Still a good name though.
People know it. They just
I think the name's fine. I think it would just come up to just the frequency of posting. Yeah. Because the name's fine. I think the name is fine.
Yeah.
And I think it shows as well that it was inspired by lockdown. Yeah. Like if people came across your page now and they're like, lockdown, like New Zealand's in lockdown, they'd be like, oh, this page must have started because of lockdown.
That's literally what did happen. So I remember the moment where I was like, what do you want to name this Instagram page? And I was like, I'll just call it this for now. Change it later when I think of something. Or I didn't even think it would get to the point where I'd even need to worry about.
Off the back of like all the negativity and hate, you must get a lot of fuck. This brought so much love and shit like that too.
Yeah, you get some pretty cool messages, man. Like, like messages from people that have just said that they struggle with anxiety and things like that, and the memes really uplift them up. Yeah, things like that are cool. Or people that just say, man, I get a laugh every time I see your memes.
Yeah, I do.
And that's that feels good. Like, 'cause that's literally like the driver for me. It's not how many followers can I get. It's not how much free shit can I get out of it. It's not how much can I make from advertising on it. It's like, how can I keep making it funny and making people laugh, especially during lockdown when shit was tough. But for a lot of people, and a lot of us were on our phones far more than often, and they were like, fuck, this is what I look forward to during lockdown. I wait for the 1 PM update and I wait for some memes to come up.
That's what I found. You're always like bang on. You're always quick. Like as soon as something would happen, whether it was a press conference or whatever, it was like straight away. It was like on, and I was like, damn, like it's quick.
Sometimes I'll be like, I would be out, and they'll be like, oh, there's going to be a 4 PM press conference. And I'm like, fuck, all right, like.
Been try and get my 8 hours of sleep.
I'll be like, I'm at countdown right now. Like, okay, check NZ Herald. Okay, make a meme. Boom, it's out there.
Yeah. Once if something's trendy, that's when
you got to be on.
People like that. Yeah, because that's where we get a lot of our news these days as well. Like Instagram, and a lot of the news I get is through memes. I'll see memes about a certain current affair, and I'm like, I hadn't even heard about this, but now I know what's going on, and I can understand it, and it's funny now as well.
Yeah, that's how I literally keep up to date with like Australian news, is the Batuta Advocate page that just is all satirical. But that's how I understand. I'm like, oh, they must be going into another lockdown in Sydney. Oh, this must be happening.
It's very political. But and I'm not even into politics much, but that helps me really keep an idea of
what's going on.
An idea of what's going on there too.
So where's the page at now? You mentioned advertising just then. Like, are Are you earning money off it? Is it just pure entertainment? Where is it?
Yeah, so I am represented by an agency now, where we can partner up with brands to advertise. But it's yeah, you got to be very careful about it. You don't want to sell out. You don't want to do all the go down the same route of influencing, which is 100%. Something that I took a piss out of for so long, and I still do. I would never ever sell out in that regard. But brands do want to collaborate, and if it aligns with my brand, then why not? Like for example, Bay Dreams came to me last year, and they said we're keen to do a giveaway on your page. We'll give you some tickets. You can give away some tickets. Boom! Like that
makes
great
sense.
engagement.
That definitely aligns.
And no one's going to be mad about that.
Yeah, 100%.
But then if
I said detox tea, bro.
Protein shake.
Detox tea, Lux Fitness, booty bags. That's the thing. I have been sent stuff from companies in the past, not the agency I'm working with, but just companies in the past, and they've just sent me stuff, and they're like, "Oh, I want you to put this on your story," and I'm like, "No, I'm not wearing this. I'm not wearing this and strutting around on my story in this."
Yeah.
But there is, like I did some advertising and some promo for Rinse vodka soda recently, but in the form of a meme.
Yeah.
So and it's I mean I've put a lot of work into that page, and I believe that if you can advertise on it and still stay true to the brand, then why not? I've literally given a lot of people a lot of entertainment for a while, and if I can make a few bucks here and there while still staying true to it, then I don't see the harm in it.
I don't either. That's such a great conversation. We had an entrepreneur a couple episodes ago, Chris Howard, and he said his big blocker was giving a lot of people, because he used to do events and provide all this value, and when it came to asking them for money, he found that there was a blocker for him, because there is that here, whether it's tall poppy syndrome or anything like that. How do you manage it,
Yeah, I mean, I actually know Chris as well. It's like,
do you?
Yeah.
Oh, true.
Just through social media.
Yeah.
He's a good guy. But I mean, are you saying, what's the question? Are you saying, how do you
get through, that blocker of asking for money?
Well, thankfully I don't have to, because, in this case, because the agency that I have do it for me now, so they'll reach out to these brands and they'll say, look, they basically have a package about me and my, sort of the work that I've created and what I can offer and my insights and stuff like that in terms of stats, and they'll reach out to brands, and the brands will say, cool, we'd love to, collaborate with you. And then they just agree on a fee and the kind of work that they want. And then we go from there. So it's still very early days in that. But there's opportunity there, and I can obviously decline work as well if I don't see it relevant, and I have before. I've just had random companies come to me and want to promote or sell, and I could easily just go, yeah, cool, X amount of dollars, here's your post, but it would just be crap. It would be a product I don't believe in, waist trainer. It was a waist trainer. I don't believe in that whatsoever. I'm a personal trainer. It's just absolute bullshit. But also, that wouldn't be. I would feel disrespectful to
your community, to the loyalty,
to the audience.
Absolutely.
But there are things that I do think you can promote legitimately. It's
alcohol, Bay Dreams,
festival, alcohol, summer, all that kind of stuff. And it's and if there's giveaways involved as well, fuck, why not? So it might be something Bay Dreams again, depending. And just see what else sort of comes through. It's a bit of a funny one, because obviously when it comes to the ASA, so the Advertising Standards Authority is really cracking down on things these days. You can get serious fines if you're not declaring that something is an ad. You literally have to say #ad. Or even if it's gifted, you have to say #gifted. So things like that, you can get in trouble, and they will sting you for it as well. And so that's another little hurdle to get around when it comes to working with these brands, because they might say, I really want to promote my product on your page, but if it's got ad all over it, people kind of instantly withdraw, or they feel a little bit like they're being sold to, which is, no one likes to be sold to in any circumstance, but there's obviously laws on that. In Switzerland, you have to declare if you've edited your photos now. That's a law. So, which I think is a good thing, because that obviously social media is having a massive impact a negative impact on people's mental health
Yeah.
in terms of the body image and things that they're seeing. So I think that's a good step forward. From an advertising point of view, when it comes to products and that, I get it. But yeah, we just have to find ways around it.
Yeah.
Not cheat it by any sense,
Yeah.
but just find ways around it, and just by staying true and just also coming across as organic as possible.
Yeah. I find that personally, like influencers that I follow, as soon as I see like hashtag ad, I'm like, like inauthentic post, because I assume that like, you're getting paid to say that I love this product. But there are some that will say, you guys know me, I've used this, skincare product for the last 6 months, and I've rated it, and now they finally are sponsoring me. Like, then I'm like, yeah, fair enough, you have been posting about this before, you've now been sponsored.
Yeah, you can smell when you're being sold. You can smell it.
And if you're a sales, if you're like, we're PTs, so we're in sales, so we hate being sold to even more. If you're in sales, you hate being sold to.
I'm okay being sold to as long as I can feel the authenticity.
Yeah, that's genuine.
And it's going to be valuable for me.
Yeah.
Sell to me all you want, I'm willing to support.
Yeah.
But if I feel like it's a one-way transaction, you're just trying to snake some dollars out of my wallet. And you can I think we're smart enough now, because social media has been around long enough, to know that collagen product is all shit. You know what I mean? Or this is the first time you've started posting about this.
Yeah.
And
out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
There was no trust built. There was no there was no relationship built. All of a sudden you've got this X product.
Yeah, and there's a swipe up link to it as well.
Yeah. So, and I think that's where the fishiness comes out from, when there's no relationship built.
Yeah, exactly. So you kind of obviously that's where the stuff that you do promote or whatever needs to be in line with your brand.
Yeah.
Going back to what I said before.
Yeah, I also think people they look out for those type of deals because it makes them feel important. It's like, someone's got a sponsor, and they're not even thinking about the community. They're not even thinking about the relationship. They're like, I feel important because I'm able to say, love this brand, and this brand is sponsoring me. They're doing it for clout rather than for the relationship.
And they'll just push anything.
Anything. Yeah, I'm seeing some, and like, hey, I'm not bagging on you. This sounds like I'm a jealous little bastard. I'm just saying it from a perspective of a consumer. And as personal trainers, we're big on relationships.
And trust.
And trust. You got to build that first before you offer me something. You know what I mean? Let's actually get into like the nitty gritty shit of it now. Like in terms of what advice could we give content creators? Because now we're in the age of information. Content is everywhere. Anyone can make money. Even if it's for the passion of peanut butter, you just create content for it now. There's huge opportunity monetizing your passion. What would be your advice for people creating content, wanting to monetize it, wanting to build brand? Such a broad question, but
I always feel like a bit of an imposter answering this question, just because of the position that I'm in. Obviously, no social media background. I've developed this page to a reasonable point. I don't know whether it was just dumb luck or just by able to just constantly keep posting, but I think obviously the first one, and everyone always talks about this, is just get started. Just make a start, no matter what it is. And I think identifying what you are passionate about obviously is important, or what you're actually what kind of content you're wanting to create. Identify that. It needs to be something you actually care about. Like for me, I actually care about having a laugh, and I just like laughing and humor in general. So that's easily a passion for me. And then I think just like double and triple down on your strengths. Those are just huge ones that are going to enable you to move forward quickly. Identify it, make sure you're passionate about it, just get started, and then go hard on the stuff that you're good at.
I love that. Those are actionable tips right from the get-go, because I think a lot of people, they know what they're passionate about, but they overthink the content or the production of it. I need this camera first. I need I need this and this, rather than just take a shot. The fact that you enjoy it is already enough, and then you just process of elimination, course correction.
Exactly, man. Yeah, because that's sort of what I found with, like, obviously the first few memes that I made, I didn't overthink them because I didn't think anything of it or that it was going anywhere. I just made a meme and put on my story. That was me just getting started, And then the second part of just getting started was when I was like, fuck it, all right, let's just chuck them together on a page. And then you can fine tune further down the line. But find out what you're good at, identify what you're good at, and go hard on that. But like I said, I do feel like a bit of an imposter. I feel like I can't really offer any super valuable tips, but those are a good way to get the ball rolling.
I think that's a great start.
Definitely. I think it's just something that you would just learn as you go as well.
Yeah,
you learn what works, what doesn't work based on your engagement, and you're going to get the stats to tell you if this is working or not working.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think there's any absolute Bible to go by.
No, there's not.
In any industry. I think just understanding those points and then just course correcting from there.
Yeah. And then a little bit further down the line, or ideally as early as you can, engagement. Make people engage in some way or form, whether it's getting them to tag their mates or getting them to share. That is going to spread it, and then the Instagram algorithm will be much kinder to you, and more likely to pop up on explore pages and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'd find that the more regularly you're posting as well, the more engagement you're going to get. I think in some of our busiest, like maybe the busiest week or so that I was posting regularly, we got over 2.2 million impressions in a week, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
And those come from shares, eh?
Shares and tags.
Yeah. It's so underrated. It's free advertising.
And like because you can see your insights for each individual post, and it will tell you obviously how many likes, how many saved, how many shared. And the shared are quite interesting because I believe the shared can refer to either they've put it on their story or they've sent it to someone. But that send could have been to a group chat, a group chat with like 5 people, and then that's... So yeah, sometimes if I make one that could be about anything really, but I'll always check how far it's been sent. And sometimes it'll be sent 3,000 times, so it's just spreads.
Yeah.
Like COVID.
So what would be next, bro? For what's on the horizon for you and the page?
Yeah.
Are you thinking of creating more pages or?
No, I think I'll just keep rolling through with this. There has been some good opportunities that have arose from this, and I've met some awesome people and made some good connections and had some discussions with some of the big boys like Lad Bible and stuff like that. It's been quite interesting. Yeah, so there is certainly opportunity to continue, and I think if you can just be consistently pumping out good content and keep climbing, then who knows what'll pop up really.
So there's no end goal, it's just you're enjoying the process.
Yeah, I don't really. I have ideas. I have general ideas that I feel like it could, of the routes that it could go down. But as long as I just continue doing what I'm doing, that will get us there. I do want to have a big party when it gets to 100k.
Yeah.
So like a proper party.
Yeah. Gangster, like a ticketed event.
Yeah, like a ticketed event.
Yeah, gangster.
Like a 100k party would be cool. But we're at like 67,000, so that will probably be another year away or something.
Are you finding the followers starting to slow? Does it fluctuate?
It really booms whenever we have a lockdown, but we haven't had one for a while. When was the last one?
So you're like, come on, Auntie Cindy.
No, not really, because I can't work when we're in lockdown, so I lose money not being able to train clients, even though I get more followers, but that's not money,
Doesn't pay the bills.
Doesn't pay the bills. Nah, so so it's still growing. Yeah, it's not going backwards.
Awesome.
Would you ever sell?
Yeah, so that's been offered. Yeah.
Can you say what in the ballpark of?
No, I can't, and I haven't been offered sums, but I've been asked if I want to sell, and I still don't know what the value of it is. I have a rough idea of what it could be worth, but I could be totally off there as well.
Yeah.
But when you think about it, you've got you've got 70,000 people or close to.
Engaged.
They are all engaging. They are all pretty much 18 to 35 New Zealanders, so it's like a pretty hot market right there. If you're a brand that's wanting to promote or advertise or somehow tap into that, for a lot of these followers, a lot of influencers in New Zealand, you see a lot of their followers are just from overseas or bot accounts or it's very engaged, very organic follower base.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I think it's worth it.
Yeah. Awesome, bro. We like to
just in value, not necessarily money, but just in value.
Yeah. We like to leave our followers with some practical tips before you go. You got any?
I think kind of just what I said before, man.
I think that was a really good one.
I probably said that too early, sorry, but yeah, just get started. Get started, figure out what you're good at. and then double down, triple down on your strengths.
Yeah, because what's the worst that can fucking happen?
Exactly, nothing. You make
nothing, because you're doing something that's fun anyway.
Yeah.
You know, it's important not to get bogged down by, because what you're doing when you're posting content about things that you're passionate about, you can get lost in the external validation. You know, but if you just hyper focus on the fact that you love it, everything else is just extra.
Yeah,
exactly. Know? Because the first month you might not find your niche, but after that your niche market will be like, hey, blah blah is actually posting about peanut butter. I love peanut butter.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a way of just navigating your passion to the right people.
Yeah.
And that shit takes time and effort.
Exactly, yeah. And you might end up in a totally different space in 6 or 12 months' time, but hey, at least you would have started already.
Yeah.
So,
and
you got experience.
Yeah, and if you don't like peanut butter anymore in 6 to 12 months' time, at least you know.
Yeah.
And go on to the next one, go to Nutella.
You will have developed, You know? You'll have developed more, like, plenty of skills and learned a lot about the process, and then your next one will be even better.
Yeah. Awesome, bro. Thanks so much. Let the people know where they can find you.
Yep, so you can find me. You can find me down at the beach in this.
He gives us address.
NZ Lockdown Memes. That's the plug for the Instagram. And I am also a personal trainer at Les Mills in Takapuna. So if you're trying to sort the rig out, we've got about
summer's coming.
6 months till summer, or less actually.
Yeah.
So hit me up, and we'll train and we'll have a laugh at the same time.
What a combo. Peace. Thanks, guys.
Cheers.
Awesome, bro.